All right, here we are, Trail 8, finally. Take 6, here we go.
Why take 6? Because 3 times last year I had planned to hike this section of the trail, but didn't because there was a forecast of snow in the high country. Twice this year I thought that I'd come up here and hike this section, but the reports from the other hikers were that there was hip deep snow to get through. So if you've been watching, I hiked section 9 and I hiked the second half of this section, section 8, which is a full 25 miles long. So I hiked just the back 7, which are much lower. So now finally I'm on this trail and off we go. We're gonna hike through Copper Mountain Ski Resort.
Okay, I want you to keep this sign in mind as we walk through the ski resort. During the ski season, these resorts become winter wonderland. During the summer, it just becomes all too obvious the scars that were made in the landscape to make these runs. And don't get me wrong, this winter I'm gonna be at a place like this skiing my brains out. But it does remind you that there's a price to be paid to ski in the winter. And it's that this part of the forest was entirely clear cut.
Now, if you're thinking to yourself, how nice it is for Copper Mountain to let us have this trail through their ski resort, I want to remind you of that yellow sign that we just passed. And that's that this is national forest. This land belongs to everybody. So how is it the ski resort gets to make these scars in the landscape for them to hopefully meet the needs of skiers, but for them to make money? And let me tell you, this is a well-precedented thing as far as public land goes. And if I was a mining company or gas and oil extraction, you know, I'd be given free access to a lot of public land to do whatever I wanted to. And why do I bring this up? Not because I want to say that that's all a bad thing. I want to ski. We need mineral resources to live in the society that we do. But what rankles my cage is when I want to do something like paragliding, where I walk up a mountain with my pack on and then fly off and don't physically touch the ground. Why am I banned? Why am I banned from using this land when a ski resort can clear cut runs and put up lifts so that they can make money? That's an odd thing to think about.
Okay, part of why I hiked today is that after tomorrow, whatever the hell that means, the detour that I met last year is going back in place. And I'm guessing that maybe those guys are the detour to be. Like those big shovels and that pipe that they're laying in. Maybe that's why there's going to be a detour. Okay, we're looking back at section 7 here. And if you've watched the movie Dumb and Dumber, when they're riding up the chairlift, they're trying to tell you that they're in Aspen. They're not, because you can see in the background the Sky Cool Bars. This is the S over here. This is the K. And a little harder to see is the Y over there. So while whatever his face is getting his tongue stuck to the chairlift, they were here. They weren't actually in Aspen. Okay, if I was all teed off, I could tee off here, I guess. But I'm not, so I'm gonna keep walking.
Okay, here I am on break number 1 after mile number 1. And that's my strategy, a break every mile, and it's been working. And the disappointing part is I kind of feel like I need a break. And usually first break, I feel like it's ridiculous to have a break, but don't worry, it gets even more vigorous as I climb up to 12,000 feet.
So today's weather forecast was for no rain. The AccuWindow 2000 says, woo, that's a pretty big cloud over there, and it's dark on the bottom. It looks like it's got some rain coming out of the bottom of it. So what went wrong? Does this have anything to do with hundreds of people getting fired from the National Weather Service? Oh, just maybe. Let's puzzle it out. Well, I finally left behind the amusement park called Copper Mountain with the golf course and the ski runs and the chairlifts and the bobsled run and the Starbucks and all that other stuff. So, time to take break number 3 of the day now that I've returned to the boonies and get a bite to eat. Remember when I said I'd left the ski resort? Yeah. That turned out not to be true, because this is definitely a ski run. Okay, I think this is the last ski run, and then I will be out of the ski resort. Although I said that before. Stay tuned, we'll find out. It looks like everybody put off starting the trail till July 1st, because all of a sudden the trail is way more crowded than it used to be. But I can kind of see why. With the flowers blooming, it's absolutely gorgeous up here. Now, most nights when I camp, I've camped by myself with no one in sight. But last night, given that the deluge has been let loose of hikers, the campsite next to me, I was going to call it Clown Car Campsite, because people just kept on going there and going in there and going in there. And I'm kind of going like, there's already a bunch of people up there, and more people started going. But, because I'm on glacier mode, they were all gone when I woke up. And now I pretty much have this place to myself. That's kind of cool.
Today's mission is to get as high as I can without placing myself in threat of afternoon thunderstorms or lightning strikes. Because tomorrow I'm going to have to hike all the stuff that's above tree line and above 12,000 feet, and I need to get through there just in case there is a threat of afternoon thunderstorms. So I'm going to get as close as I can today.
This destruction you see here is the result of an avalanche. Probably started way up there, came through here, snapped off all these trees, and then piled them up in this valley. So, if anybody ever calls you a snowflake, go ahead and embrace the metaphor, because this is the power of snowflakes.
I can get the old pan out and get out of your way.
All right, folks, that's Janet's huts down there. 30 years ago, I skied up there and stayed in this hut. I remember it was a beautiful full moon night, and I skied out here somewhere and actually found a cliff to fall off of. But I don't see that cliff now, so who knows? Old memories might not be worth much. All right, up above tree line. Gonna be setting up camp soon. Tomorrow's gonna be the big stuff, all above 12,000 feet. Holy smoke, look at the view. It's the beginning of day 3. This is going to be 12,000 feet plus all day long. And this is just amazing, the scenery up here. So off we go. There's a marmot sitting on the trail. Oh, he's running off now. Oh, it's Marmot Palooza up here. Here's another one. One just ran away. And there he goes. Bye. Oh, there's the two of them with their little heads sticking up. All right, coming up on Cerro Pass, one of the high points. And what sort of great grand view do we get here? Well, we get tons of wind, so you can't hear what I'm saying. But check that out. Here we are, and there's Mr. Marmot on the rock over there. Yeah, we're looking off into the distance with the Climax mine over there. Oh, there goes another marmot. Hi, marmot. What are you doing? All right, I finally got a good marmot shot. He's hanging out doing his marmot thing. All right, I gotta keep hiking. See you, marmot. So 3 weeks ago, some of these sections were hip deep snow, which is why I put it off. Now I'm trudging along, no problem. The old Gore-Tex shoes keeping my feet dry. And somewhere over here, in half a mile is the creek, where I'll take my first break. Okay, it's break 1 of day number 3. Just gonna fill up a little water, although the next stream is just a half mile away. I think I'll take a longer break over there. And the high point is just 2.2 miles away. And then after that, it will all be downhill. Well, once upon a long time ago, somebody came up here and did a little bit of mining exploration. Dug that hole through this tailings out here. Did they find gold? I doubt it, because if they did, there'd be a big mine right there. When you hike on a trail that you've never been on before, your imagination starts planning out the route and where it's gonna go. And I've just been dead sure that this trail is gonna turn up here and take me over this ridge somewhere. But it's not true, because I can see in the distance there's that mound over there, that the trail cuts across there, and then I'm gonna go behind this ridge somewhere. Okay, now the trail does zigzag its way up over this ridge, and that will be the high point. of the trail. Now this morning when I looked at the clouds, I went like, yeah, there's no chance of thunderstorms. Now I've changed my mind. So this whole glacial mode thing is gonna go by the wayside until I get over that ridge. Howling winds, black skies. This is the high point. There's the world beyond. And for me, it's downhill the whole way from 12,200 feet all the way back down to 9,400 feet. And you know what? I can't enjoy this that long because, you know, threatened rain with the dark sky. Probably not lightning strikes yet, but it's time to get lower. Off we go. Okay, I'm in a Studio Ghibli film, and I'm actually gonna go that way, through that pass, and then descend down to Camp Hale, where you saw me last time. Now the question is, how long of a recovery break can I take with the sky looking like that? The answer is probably not too long, but boy, I got a lot of trail to do, so let's not mash ourselves to death in one great big hurry. Knock it off, Sky. That whole hillside is full of sheep. You can hear them baaing in the distance, and right on top of the ridge above the snow, there's one outlined on top of the ridge. Curious. Here we go, Kokomo Pass. And let's see, I got 2 days to do 5.8 miles. That's pretty ridiculous. Okay, down the pass we go, into the teeth of the wind. Go find my camp and start lazing off. How far will that be? I don't know. I'm going to try to get below tree line and at least sit under a tree under my umbrella. At worst and at best, see if I can get the tent up before I get hit by that stuff. But tree line's still a ways away. Here we go. All right, here I am. I've made it below tree line. I'm into the forest. I got the umbrella open. I think it's covering my pack, although you can see better than I can because I can't see in the back of my head. When I looked out in the distance, I think this is going to rain and then go away, hopefully, and then I'll find somewhere to set up camp. Alrighty, the storm has blown over and it's time to get some lunch, and then I gotta find a campsite. There are many different facets to the hiking experience, and today I'm doing one that I haven't done on this trail yet so far, and that's taking a zero. What the heck's that? Well, take a look over here. I set up camp last night. I'm still here. I'm gonna stay here all day, so there will be no hiking miles done today. And why is that? Well, first of all, I gave myself plenty of time to hike this section, but yesterday, because of the threat of thunderstorms, I had to get off the pass and covered more miles than I had planned, and now I'm well ahead of plan. And with the trail down this way, only a few miles away, there's just absolutely no point of hiking today. So what am I doing? I've been hanging out on this log, having some food, playing my ukulele, and now I'm going to get back to reading my book. So I'll catch you all tomorrow when I finish off this segment.
Okay, final day on the trail. And I think it's time to talk about slowest known time. That's what I've been telling everybody. I'm going for the slowest known time on the Colorado Trail. But we need to define what you actually mean by slow, because I've had some people say, well, I started the trail when I was 17 and now I'm 73 and I'm just finishing up. Therefore, it took me 50 plus years or whatever. That's not slow. That's just tons of procrastinating and waiting around. Slow is how many days it takes you to complete the trail. Now, I think I'm totally winning this contest because at this point, when I complete this bit, I will have gone 155 miles in 33 days. Now that's slow. So if you're going for my record of slowest known time, you got to get to mile 155 in more than 33 days. Gore-Tex shoes are the best. Oh, looky. My feet are completely dry. There's a term that long distance backpackers use, which is a PUD. PUD stands for a pointless up and down. Boy, I've been there at times when I've seen a trail that, like, why do they make me go down there? Just hike on up here again. And to tell the truth, depending on what your objective is, this whole section of the trail could be seen as one gigantic PUD. Because I started at 9 something in Copper Mountain, hiked all the way up to 12.2. Now I'm going down to Camp Hale at 9.4. Pointlessly all the way up in the high country, pointlessly all the way back down. And that would be true if my only objective was to hike from Denver to Durango. In this case, though, I have another objective, which is to be out in the woods as much as possible and see all sorts of stunning scenery. And let me tell you, that scenery above 12,000 feet that you just saw, I don't know how it comes through, but that open areas above tree line, absolutely chocked full of flowers, whole pile of marmots running around. I mean, it was absolutely stunning. And even when the storms came in, the cloudscapes against the background of the mountains was absolutely amazing. And therefore, this pointless up and down fulfilled my objective of being out in the woods and seeing amazing things. So I guess it's not pointless. Yeah, I might be retiring these pants. This fabric is UV'd, falling apart, holes are cropping up all over the place. And it's not so bad when it's the knee, but it's when your ass comes out of the back of your pants that you really got a problem. That makes for some tough hiking. I used to be way up there. Look at where I am now. But I can't help feeling a little sad about losing altitude. I mean, it took so much effort to get up there and it was so grand and glorious. Now to be on the other side of the mountain, going all the way back to 9,000 feet, there's something that makes you kind of go, eh. Well, I think in the middle of the jittery screen, you can see the white pickup truck. Wish this phone wasn't all screwed up. And if that's the case, I guess I should stop dilly-dallying because my ride is already here. Off we go.
go. Tree go boom. So you have to get around this thing somehow. The good part is I'm filming while I do this, which makes everything easier, of course. There we go. Well, I guess everybody went over there. Oh well for me. Oh, look at there. It's the big white pickup truck. Must mean I'm almost done with the trail. And there it is. I finally completed the first half of section 8 that I was trying to do since last fall. And right now I'm completing my footsteps in one continuous track. Yeehaw. There it is. All right. You know what that means? No more going backwards. It's section 10 and then on to the collegiates.